best part is when somebody looks through a telescope for the first time and they see the moon, and there's that childlike wonder even in the adults.
We meet up with two astronomy enthusiasts to talk about stargazing on St. George Island.
Of course, St. George here has the platform where we're standing right now. Some people go out. I know people that go out into Tate's Hell. Bring lots of bug spray with you.
Tate's Hell and St. George Island are two remote locations you can go to that are pretty far from light pollution.
Tallahassee's 50 miles, I believe, and I would say that Panama City's
about
60 miles that way. And over here, that's what we talked about, trying to get dark sky designation for this park, is because we don't have lighting here.
DarkSky International is helping St. George Island State Park get DarkSky certified. This would designate St. George Island as a place where light pollution is kept to a minimum. Skip explains how Florida's larger cities light up the sky, making it harder to stargaze.
When you start looking for places, it's hard to find places nowadays that there's not light encroachment. I lived in Miami for 15 years. I used to go to the star parties with the Southern Cross Astronomical Society that works out of Miami, and we would go down into the Everglades. And it finally got so much light in Miami that they had to move to the Keys and go way down on the Keys, because it's just, the city grows, population, more lights, and it sometimes is uncontrolled.
Richard and Skip decided to bring along their cool gear so we could get a good look at the sky.
It's like for kids. It's called a wide field because it's got such a short focal distance on it, so it gets a larger piece of the sky that you're looking at. And it's real easy with a low power eyepiece for kids to look through and look at the moon.
This is a Schmidt Cassegrain. The advantage of this one is basically the length of that tube is the focal length of the mirror. This one is twice that, so the focal length is actually twice the length of this.
First thing somebody says is, well, what kind of telescope should I get? And the first thing I say is, don't get one. Get a set of binoculars, start taking a look at the sky. You get a wider, we talk about the wide field, you get a wider view of the sky. If you enjoy that, then you can move to a telescope. If you don't, bird watching, you got a pair.
I asked Richard, do we have to go somewhere remote to stargaze?
If you want to see the moon, the planets, things like that, just about anywhere works. Those are, when they're overhead, they're bright enough that you can see them. And you can see them with the naked eye and then point the telescope at it. It's when you start trying to see like deep sky objects that it really, where dark skies make a difference.
You can use apps like Stellarium, Night Sky, and others to gauge what you should be able to see on any night. Even pros like Richard and Skip use them from time to time.
And I know generally what I'm looking at, but it will help me sort of dial into exactly what I'm looking for.
They use all the weather satellite data, and it looks at both cloud cover, transparency, moisture, and then gives an overall rating of how the sky is going to be. Nice thing about the weather, we can talk about it, but we can't do anything about it.
Richard and Skip and many other astronomers use red light because it minimizes light pollution around the telescopes. We should note that they recommend coming around an hour to an hour and a half after sunset to get the best view. If not, you might face the problem we faced, bugs.
Did you inhale a couple too many mosquitoes there?
That's part of Orion.
Oh, I see Orion's belt now.
Yeah, it's showing up.
So here, let's get some Orion's belt action going here for you. I can see the trapezium, and if you know what you're looking at, you can see a little bit of the nebulosity.
In the past decades, technology has come so far that more people than ever can capture stunning photos of the night sky. And then there's NASA's James Webb Telescope, which allows us to see towards the beginning of the universe.
The JWST, the James Webb Space Telescope, have you seen the photographs that are coming back? They're scary, because that photograph is like a grain of sand held at your arm's length. And there's like 1,000 galaxies in that photograph. And they've all got, what, 2 to 4, what is it, million or billion stars? I can't ever remember.
For WFSU Public Media, I'm Ian McGordy.